One of the first books that I've ever wanted to read outside of school was called The 48 Laws of Power. And when it finally arrived to my house, I opened the Amazon package and I went to my balcony, took my shirt off, and started reading it outside in the sun. After a few days, I started to actually lose interest in the book. I didn't really like it anymore. I wasn't really learning much from it. And one day I was in my room and I did one of the worst things possible. I picked it up and I read it again. And the issue that I had is that I lost interest and I didn't really want to read the book anymore. I wanted to read other books, but I was thinking to myself, oh, I need to finish this book first. But that was such a horrible mindset, because what you need to understand is, and this is something that Robert Greene talks about, the guy who wrote 48 Laws of Power, is whenever you're not interested in learning from a source like a book or a YouTube video, you're not really going to learn from it. When you have a deep desire to learn from it, then you're going to be more likely to remember and take action from it. You can probably remember back in school, you probably had a subject that you didn't really like. You just didn't really like it. The teacher was bad. It was just boring. And let's be honest, did you really learn a lot in that lesson, in that class? Probably not. Now compare that to a lesson that you did like. Maybe it was like science. Maybe the teacher was great. I remember one of my science teachers. He was amazing. He just resonated with everyone. He made jokes. He made the whole class laugh. But he eventually left. He went back to South America, or he went on a holiday. And we were left in the next year, we were left with this horrible teacher. And I started hating science, which is something that I didn't really do for the past years. I really did like science. But this teacher was so bad, so slow, she just so mundane, didn't really entertain the class. And I started losing interest in science. And guess what happened then? I stopped learning much in it. I stopped remembering from that lesson. So what I'm telling you is, whenever you're kind of debating on what book to read right now, the book that you want to read is what book interests you at the moment. The book that interests you now, not the book that interested you weeks ago, not the book that interested you even yesterday. Read the book that you want to read right now. Maybe your mind is kind of ruminating on spirituality, on masculinity. Oh, so you're going to read The Way of the Superior Man. Maybe your mind is focused on entrepreneurship and how to build a better mind as an entrepreneur. Then maybe you're going to want to read Psycho-Cybernetics. Really read the books that you want to read right now. The books that you feel motivated or kind of ruminate about right now. Those are the books that you're going to learn most from, you're going to remember, and you're going to enjoy it. So if you have a lot of non-fiction books like I do, I have the Psycho-Cybernetics, The Way of the Superior Man, The Slight Edge, Steal Like an Artist, Think and Grow Rich, The 48 Laws of Power. If you're kind of debating what book to read next, because I can imagine this would be an issue, or it was an issue for me. It was like, I wanted to read all these books, but I thought I had to read one, like school taught you, right? They told you to read one book from the front to the back, and you don't switch books unless you have finished this one. But I kind of read it in like this autistic way, where I literally have like 5 book opens at once. Midway through Steal Like an Artist, I just started The Slight Edge. I also just started Psycho-Cybernetics. So that's exactly the way you want to read, because you're going to be more likely to read whenever you kind of read your interest. Because imagine you kind of, let's say you're doing this, you're forcing yourself to read a book that you're not really interested to. Now you're making reading something that you don't really want to do. And you're not really going to want to keep reading if it's something not pleasurable, not enjoyable. You're kind of forcing yourself to read the 48 Laws of Power. And if you're reading the 48 Laws of Power then, and you're really enjoying it, don't kind of get demotivated by my message that I'm about to say. But let's say you're reading the 48 Laws of Power, but you're really getting bored of it. You're forcing yourself to read it. But yet the next day, when you want to read again, you're going to think, oh, I have to read the 48 Laws of Power. And you're going to get demotivated and not read. Now compare that if you think to yourself, oh, it's time to read. Okay, what book am I interested in right now? Oh, okay, I'm interested in Psycho-Cybernetics. I'm interested in The Way of the Superior Man. You're going to enjoy reading more, and you're going to therefore read more, learn more, and remember more. There's no reason to just force yourself to read one book. Treat books like a YouTube video. It's like whenever you open a YouTube video and you kind of get bored of it, you most likely click off the video. So treat books exactly the same, where whenever you get bored of them, whenever you feel like you're not learning from them, just click off, just put the book down. The book won't be offended. Just put it down and read another one that you're more interested in, and you're probably going to learn more from it. Just like YouTube videos, you might learn from this one, you might learn from another one. One extra thing I want to mention in this video is how to actually remember from books, because now you're not reading like an idiot. Now you're not reading like the idiot who would just read the one book like the school taught them, like to read start from finish, and they get demotivated, they stop midway anyway because they didn't want to read, and they didn't read for the next 3 months because of it, because they didn't like reading. So what I do to remember what you learn from books is kind of noting down. I know this is gonna sound scary whenever you write on books. Look, I read like this and this. I know it sounds kind of scary to write on books, but what I write on books is kind of like adding it to my knowledge web. Because think about it this way: your mind works like a web. Like all your thoughts are interconnected. You know, okay, self-improvement has cold showers, the gym, and some other visualizations, for example. And in those kind of little points, there's more knowledge in them. So your brain kind of works in this web, and whenever you learn something new, let's say your web is right here, it's like you can imagine this is a spider web, okay? And whenever you learn something new from a book, it's kind of like a little dot here, and if you don't connect this dot immediately, because our attention span is shit, so you're gonna forget it within just 8 seconds. But if you don't connect that little thought that you get in with your massive kind of complex of webs, then it's just gonna slowly disintegrate and disappear. And the way you connect this new knowledge, this new dot to this web, is just by connecting what you learned to something you already know. For example, you learned that visualizations help you with success, for example. And you remember, oh, but this YouTuber said that visualizations are good for success. Oh, I remember when this YouTuber also said this. And you're kind of connecting it to your knowledge web. You might learn something interesting in the way of the superior man. Let's say in the first chapter, stop hoping for a completion of life. And maybe that's even happened in your life. For example, in my life, stop waiting for a completion of life. I once thought I was gonna do copywriting, so then I could do some more purposeful work. So first I'll make money, then I'll do some purposeful work of helping other people, helping people through my knowledge. And in surface level, that kind of looks like a smart idea. Okay, I'll make money, so then I could kind of fund my purpose. But it's just a waste of time, and I would have wasted months of my life where I could have just leveled up my speaking skills. So I kind of write that down the way the superior man. So whenever I look back on it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. And it kind of just solidifies more in my mind, and I could teach it way better to other people. And I know it sounds scary to, I know it sounds scary to write on books, but just write it in pencil, because what's the point? You can either write on the book and learn from it and remember it, or you can be a little pussy and not write in it and forget everything, basically. So the idea is you look back on it and you read your notes and you go like, oh yeah, because I'm not gonna lie to you, highlighting shit, like underlining shit like I did right here, it's kind of useless. I'm not gonna lie. You think you're learning, but you really don't learn that much. So you just kind of write it in pencil or write it and rub out pen. So just use a pencil or a rub out a pen. You know those pens that you can write and then rub out? Just use one of those and just don't overthink it. Just kind of write whatever you thought. Maybe you get like an idea midway reading The Way of the Superior Man. Maybe you kind of remember something you did in your last relationship, for example, or maybe something that you heard online and you go like, oh, to be able to attract feminine women, you need to be masculine. Oh, I heard this big creator say that, and he said also this and that about it. And you just kind of write. It could be literally just as simple as 3 words that you can remember, like maybe as YouTuber said that. So it's kind of like, it could be 3 words, it could be a sentence where it's like a full-on like sentence about maybe you or your thoughts, and then it could just be a whole paragraph if you really want to. This is something that I kind of want to do in the future, is like maybe get a Kindle, because then you can like write loads and loads of notes. But just at the beginning, just kind of write little notes about your thoughts, because then you're gonna kind of connect all of these new insights to your massive web. You're gonna get a new insight here, like a little dot. You're gonna get another one here as you're reading the book. And if you don't connect them to your brain, they're just gonna slowly disintegrate, and they're just slowly gonna fall and break, and you're not gonna remember them. You're gonna like read a book, forget everything, read it again, and forget everything. That's such an idiot way to live. That's why I said like most people read like idiots. Most people learn like idiots, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was an idiot as well, and I probably still am compared to my future self. But I really hope you benefited from this video and learned something new and some actionable steps. And just a little quick plug, if you're interested in learning more from me, learning more from other people, more like-minded men, right now I'm working on like a little course that you'll be able to benefit from my community. That'll be the first link in the description, where we do calls, we do coaching, we do those kinds of things, so you benefit a lot from it. And yeah, I really hope you benefited from this video. Mwah.